Welcome back to All Sorts of Sports.
All sorts of sports.
We're missing Ryan today, but you got 3/4 of the crew here.
Stop saying missing. He's not here. We're not necessarily missing him, but he's not here.
Yeah, I didn't mean missing in a sentimental way.
I miss you, bro. Clarify
that he's milk carton missing.
What do you miss? What do you miss? Do you miss us agreeing on a Saturday runtime? Oops, I forgot that I have an engagement at 11. Then, hey guys, how about we wake up early Saturday to potentially give you a shot to be there? How about 10 minutes beforehand before I can get an hour worth of more sleep? You know what? I'm getting pressured to leave a little earlier than I used to be. Yeah, you missed that? You missed that? I don't miss that.
You okay, fam?
I'm just come on.
I know he's not gonna watch this.
There's no chance.
Nah, I think he is. I think he's gonna watch the first couple minutes anyway, so he'll see K-Dot's.
This is not the first time I've done this. He never sees until I tell him in the next episode. Hey, I trashed you for 10 minutes.
Send him the clip. Just send him the clip. But anyway, Ryan, you're not missed, but you're not a part of the podcast today, apparently. So I just want to be clear. This is not coming from me. I'm just clarifying.
Oh, fuck off. It's coming from all of you guys. I'm just finally the motherfucker that's had enough. And I'm saying shit. Same way with the text last night. What was it? No, Ryan, you fucked up. We're not going to all change the schedule for this shit. Everybody wants to, what's good for you, Ryan? What works for you, Ryan? Fuck that. You're out.
So this guy really is the Joe of the pod.
Oh man. Oh, chaos. Okay, so today we're going to talk NBA playoff preview. Also going to get to some NFL contract deals and some other stuff. But we want to start by kicking off. We'll just start in the Western Conference, basically. Then we'll go Western Conference and go Eastern Conference. But let's start with 1-8. The play-in has been determined. Pelicans upset, I guess, the Clippers. I don't know if it's really an upset because Paul George didn't play. But I'm happy. I just want to say I'm happy for the Pelicans. I love Brandon Ingram. I feel like he's a criminally underrated player because he hasn't had the time to shine in the playoffs, and I hope he gets that now. Even though I think the Suns are going to win that series. But I want you guys pick. So Suns, Pelicans. K-Dot, let's start off with you.
Suns in. Hold on. Where? Oh yeah, Suns in 5.
Okay. Why Suns in 5?
They're clearly the best team in the Western Conference. They've been doing all kinds of shit, just steamrolling through. Actually, the biggest part about everything that you just said was the Clippers. So glad the Paul George and Kawhi Leonard stuff has worked out so well for that secondary LA team. It's been a fantastic job, guys. I know it's not their fault, injuries, whatever, but still, just hasn't worked out. Kind of like the Brooklyn situation, but we'll get to later. I just think if you're looking at it from a talent standpoint, the Suns are so clearly above the cut of anybody else that I'm really looking at in the West. I just think I'm not going to say it's a full cakewalk, but they shouldn't have any issues here in this first. I say they lose one game just because maybe getting into the groove. But if you look at what the Suns have been doing all season, especially in the Western Conference, I just don't think it's going to be that big a matchup.
You changed my pick. You changed my pick. I had Suns in 5, but the way you just talked about it made me think you're right. They're clear cut above the Pelicans, and I think that could be a sweep. So I was gonna say Suns in 5, but I say Suns in 4. And okay. I'm hoping for Suns in 5 because Brandon Ingram, I hope he can get him one game. But I can see Suns in 4. So I'm gonna go Suns sweep. James?
Suns in 6.
That's disrespectful.
No, it ain't.
That is disrespectful.
CJ McCollum is there.
You mean the CJ McCollum that remember the white lady? Oh no, the black lady who was win a playoff game, CJ.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying, Karen, and I'm
trying.
Yep, he gonna win 2 of them this time.
That's
he gonna win 2 of them.
The non-all-star CJ.
Yep, he gonna win 2 of them.
You
go from I just Brandon Ingram's criminally underrated to they ain't gonna win shit. Come on.
The Suns team is stacked though. It wouldn't be his fault, bro. You got to go up against Chris Paul, Devin Booker. You got Bridges. They got a great defense, a good offense.
It's a lot less to do with the Pelicans and a lot more to do with the Suns.
But there's a reason they were in the play.
At the end of the day, we all have the Suns going on, so it's not. Like you had Suns in 5 at first. Kate, I had Suns in. You had Suns in 5. No,
I
you had
don't
Suns
like
in
choosing
4.
sweeps. I just think sweeps.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I'm throwing them a bone.
Right.
But look, if I really was being what I want to do, I'd probably go with Keem and just say they're going to sweep.
Well,
I'm throwing it in first round. Shit happens, stuff like that.
You also got to remember like the whole thing of like rust versus rest, right? I think the Suns can come out flat and lose the first game. And then if that happens, then the Suns go on a tear. And then you get to the final game and they're like, nah, we're not going to lose this one. And then they win one and then they lose the next one. Suns in 6.
I could see that, but I also think you got to factor in that the Pelicans have played, 2 games this week? They played 2 games within 3 days. And so they might be a little tired.
Yeah, they don't play today, they play tomorrow.
Right, yeah, but they played Friday and they played
rust
Wednesday.
Versus rest. That's what I'm saying.
That's a tough schedule.
Rust versus rest. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Yeah. We'll see. All right. So we got our Suns.
And those have been documented, right? Somebody wrote those down. Got it. Cool. All right.
You got them, James?
That's why I made sure I dropped that little hint.
Thank you. Why the fuck is my camera? Jesus Christ.
Your camera's sick of your bullshit.
Yeah, it is. My Skip Bayless. All right. So 6.
All right. So moving on. Next matchup in Western Conference, we got Grizzlies Wolves. The T-Wolves, I think, surprised everybody. I don't think anybody picked them to make the playoffs this year. Maybe the play-in, but not the playoffs. But they made both and are looking pretty good. And so I think they're both 2 very young teams, very good young teams. I love Ja. I love Anthony Edwards. I like that entire Memphis team, but I do love Anthony Edwards for the Wolves. I love D'Angelo Russell. I'm a fan. They also have Carl Anthony Towns.
Patrick Beverly?
They have Carl Anthony Towns.
Do they?
Hey, Patrick Beverly be fooling y'all. I like Pat Bev. I'm not gonna lie. I like Pat Bev. I ain't got no problem with him. But anyway, so Grizzlies Wolves. We started with K-Dot last time, James. While you're marking down the picks, who you got for Grizz Wolves?
Grizzlies Wolves. I have the Grizzlies in 5.
Okay, all right. So you're thinking only 1 game for the Wolves?
Yeah, and that will be on the back of Anthony Edwards, not Carl Anthony Towns. Here's why. I watched the playing game, and I see what Jimmy Butler's talking about.
I've always seen it. Okay.
I know. No, but like I never really pay attention to the Wolves because like who cares? But I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait, why the fuck is a small forward guarding you like this, or a shooting guard guarding you like this and keeping you out of the paint? He's like those what? You know, like in PG County, like we're all hoopers, right? And you got like the fucking 6'8" dude that's sitting there trying to fucking play point guard. Get your motherfucking ass in the paint and do something. You too big to be doing this shit. Every time and then like, come on, fam. It's so annoying. It brought me flashbacks to when I used to play in the rec center and I'd be seeing these motherfuckers. I'm like, fam, get your ass from out here. This is my place, not yours. You get in the paint and you dunk on somebody, but he can't do it.
It always reminds me when you say that, it makes me think of the picture with him and DeMarcus Cousins, where he's trying to back down DeMarcus Cousins and he looks like he's about to cry. Yeah. And DeMarcus is like, what are you doing, big fella? What are you doing, big fella? Listen, okay. So I want to say this because I have, friends and we talk about this stuff. And I told them, they're like, you don't like Carl Anthony Towns? I'm like, no, I love Carl Anthony Towns. As a person, I think you know what I'm saying? I respect what he's gone through and all this stuff. When he came out of college, I thought he'd be like the one. I thought he'd be like a better version of what Embiid is right now. I thought he'd be a rim protector who can shoot threes and kill in the post. I thought he'd like devour teams. I was like, oh, he's going to be a part of the centers are back era, and he's going to be one of the main guy leading it. He is not. He is soft. And when I say that, I want to expand on what I mean by he is soft. Can Carl Anthony Towns sometimes be a physical player? Yes. He is soft in the sense that he does not take control of his physical prowess, and that he will let someone who is more seasoned, maybe like a little bit. I don't know if they're just because somebody's.
Would you stop being politically correct and just say it with your chest?
Doesn't have old man strength, and
it's not about old man strength. He's just mentally soft.
You remember when that picture, that meme was going around where the kids was doing the Oklahoma drill, and it's like, I've never seen like this drill made as many basketball players as there are in the world, right? Because that was cat.
He's mentally soft when it comes to basketball. I'll say that. Because there's another aspect to his mental toughness, which I respect, which is him being able to play and like going out there despite what's happened with his family and all that stuff. That's why I don't want to like. Oh, he's not weak. He's not weak in that way.
He's weak on the court compared to what he should be physically.
Yes.
There's no killer instinct. That's the same thing that Wiggins was when he was in Minnesota. There was no killer instinct. There's no. Like, I know I think Keem, you're the one that somebody hates when they refer to players as dogs. Like, where's the dog at in you? That's Minnesota for the longest time has been since KG left, and even KG was fucking. They were chiseling away at that after a minute for him, right? Like, it's just this entire thing where it's just they don't have that, where they haven't had that full blown fighter's mentality. Like, fight or flight, they seem more flight than fight. They always have. It's like they're not there to be physical. Karl-Anthony Towns should be a top 3 player physically, at least, especially that position in the league. And it's just, come on. Like, you look at his size, you look at his ability, you look at his speed. It's like, you should be this. Why aren't you that? And then you can't look at anything physically. So it's got to be something up here. And what?
So I'll say, I'll add this part. So have you seen the video of him like going crazy, like against the Lakers? Like, I'm out here, 10 toes down.
Yep.
You saw? Okay. So I don't know what y'all thought when y'all saw that, but I saw you are not one of them.
Yeah.
You're trying. You're not fake it till you make it.
You're forcing it, buddy. You're forcing it,
you make it.
You're trying to be something that you're not right now. Because you can. I don't know. We've talked about this before. I'm a body language person. You can tell, like, when he's looking around like, y'all see me. Mm-hmm. It's like he's looking for the attention so that they can give him the verbal affirmation of, yeah, Karl-Anthony, you're tough. You're tough. You're strong. You're physically imposing. You beat a Lakers team. You did this to a Lakers team, bro, and they are ass. So it doesn't matter. It holds no weight. Like, we need you now. Like, hey, play tough now. Play tough now. If you put Patrick Beverley's mindset in Karl-Anthony Towns' body, you might have the greatest player ever. you might get the greatest player ever.
Hey, Karl-Anthony Towns not even the best player on his team.
He's the most talented, and Anthony Edwards. He's the best.
Anthony Edwards is going to show out. They're going to lose, but he's going to show out.
I actually think it's going to be, I'm biased, it's going to be D'Angelo Russell that shows out. But we'll see.
Hey, look, I hear you, and I thought that too going into the season, but he is as streaky as it can get. And when he in a slump, it's bad. It's bad.
Mm-hmm. All right. I just want to, let me see something real quick. Because in the play-in, it was D'Angelo Russell.
Mm-hmm.
And like Anthony Edwards got into foul trouble. He showed up too, but it was mostly Russell. But Kat, I don't think you've given your pick yet.
I haven't. What was your pick?
I'm going last.
Pussy. Timberwolves in 7. Hear me out.
The fuck?
I should let you go last. Huh?
Yeah.
This is some bullshit. Okay.
All right. Look, this is just this is where my playoff predictions start to fall apart. Okay, but I understand. Like, to me, with the playoffs, I'm not a huge looking at the matchups guy until we get a little further in the playoffs. To me, first round's mostly about where you bringing energy wise to the basketball game and where you bringing energy wise in the series. Now, here's the thing: I saw Ja Morant's quote about what happens in the M, And I'm like, I almost switched right back. I was like, fuck it, Memphis is 7.
Man, you realize they hate each other, right?
Oh yeah, which is why I'm going with
Who
this.
hates each other?
Ja Morant and Patrick Beverly, Ja Morant and the Timberwolves, Bane and the Timberwolves.
Yeah, these are two teams that don't like each other. And
Dylan Brooks too.
And see, this is where I'm
That's
at.
why it's gonna be a good series.
I think it's gonna be great. I'm going to 7 with it, and the only reason I'm going to 7 with it is I honestly think it wouldn't be past the point of thinking that there might be some suspensions like during this season.
Nah, fam. Look, there's no way. There's no way
I'm
that
not mad
Memphis
at
is
you
going to
going
lose
7.
because
I'm
they
mad
really
at you
want to play
saying what
Golden
you said
State
about
next.
Cat and going 7 and still going 7. Because if there's any team that embodies what Cat needs, it's the Grizzlies.
No, of course, but I'm saying that I think what you saw with the celebration that Minnesota had when Kansas play in, and how stoked they were, they won a championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, there's a certain thing where I'm trying to figure out what it is that takes Karl-Anthony Towns to hit the next level. I do think there is a little bit of fake it till you make it, especially if you're not born just with that mentality, right? So you can kind of ride the wave of the other guys around you to kind of get there. I think if you're looking at it, there's never been a combination of guys around in Minnesota that kind of breed that mentality, that killer instinct, without necessarily being rah, 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 or getting too abrasive in Karl-Anthony Towns where it might rub him the wrong way, a la Jimmy Butler, right? Mm-hmm. It's more of like, hey, guy, come on with us. And I think it's like an easier pill to swallow for Karl-Anthony Towns to maybe ride that wave. I know I'm getting like it's some ethereal
that wave
bullshit.
Not going to happen in Memphis, bro.
I think that if anything, if they piss, I'm waiting for that moment where he gets pissed off, or he gets to that moment where it's like, hey, I got to rock for my squad, or I got to rock for my team. Look, if it doesn't happen with this series, then I think I can pack it in on Karl-Anthony Towns.
He's going to get pissed off and turn around and see that there's Steven Adams right there, and he ain't going to do shit. He's going to get pissed off, turn around and see, oh, that's Dylan Brooks. I can't even back him down in the post.
Probably.
So of course, I'm not going to fight him.
Probably. But I do think that
it's not probable. It's proven.
The X factor to me is D'Angelo Russell. And if whether or not D'Angelo Russell, when they got to play Anthony Edwards the way they got to play him, when Karl-Anthony Towns, just because of who he is physically, they got to play him the way they play him. Can D'Angelo step up in those moments? As you said, he's streaky, up and down. Regardless of who wins this series, they got him losing the next round anyway. But I think that it's going to be, these guys are going to be battling it the fuck out. I was literally, I could flip a coin on who it is that I think are going to win. I do think this goes the distance to 7 now. And I'm just so happy to be picking Minnesota because I really like Anthony Edwards.
Damn. But look, bruh, if Memphis wins and Golden State wins, they would play each other. And Dylan Brooks is still talking about Iguodala. They want that.
I'm hoping for that. But anyway,
I think Memphis wants all the smoke. They want all the smoke. John said it.
John said, like, oh yeah, we climbing the chimney because we want all the smoke.
We want all the smoke here in the end.
Yes.
So here's the smoke. And it's time. Like, Karl-Anthony Towns is not stopping that.
Don't make me change my pick. I made my pick. I already feel like whatever about my pick. Just
so why do it?
Because I had to pick one, and I knew that you guys were going to pick Memphis. Let me step on the outside. I'm going to step on the outside of it. I'm going 7 with it. I'm going the distance.
Okay. It maybe goes 7, but I don't think so. But anyway, I'm picking Grizzlies in 6. And I think the Grizzlies in 6 because they're both young teams, and I think they're both going to be high energy. I could see a situation where they both win their home games, and then like people are talking like, "Oh, okay, is Memphis it? Whatever," and then Memphis is like, "All right, we got to close them out." They win at home. They win on the road, and they win at home. And so I think that's how they'll close them out. Basically, I think it's a great matchup in terms of like ability, in terms of teams. Like Josh just coming back, he's healthy now. That's perfect. You've got Ja versus D'Angelo Russell in the point guards. You got Bane versus Anthony Edwards. You got Cat versus Steven Adams. Like that's matter of fact, you got Cat versus Jaren Jackson Jr. And like that's a fun matchup for me. Like I can't wait to see it. That should be a really good series. I'm thinking it's going to be one of the best 2 or 3 series that we get in this first round. But yeah, Memphis is wiping them out in 6. I think just piggybacking off of something K-Dot said, I've talked about this before in football, but it's the same thing in basketball. Like you get the sense that when those teams that win like the championships that aren't their championships, like that's usually the last round that they're successful in. And it's like, oh, that was our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Boom, next round. We won our Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
Coach Carter ending.
We out of here.
I'll wait for that shit. Somebody gonna do it on Twitter.
That is it, right? And so yeah, I think the same thing happens with the T-Wolves. I could even see a situation where they get smacked, where Memphis comes out like just bombing on them and wins in 5. But I'm giving them 6 because I think that they're both young, and like that this is the Grizzlies like second year in the playoffs, but they're still a young team, and like young teams kind of falter sometimes, and it's like we should have won. We should have beat them in 5, but we'll let them take us to 6.
As you were talking, I kind of started off in the distance, and I felt in my brain the song "Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend" just started playing. I don't feel good about this pick. I'm still sticking with it. I really don't feel good about
Don't skip Bayless, me.
I'm not hedging any. I'm saying, like, I'm
riding the wave. I told you I didn't feel good about it.
I'm riding the wave. Like, it's what it is. The NBA play. I'm either like really good at NBA playoff pick. Last year, I thought it was really fucking decent at NBA playoff pick. Remember Milwaukee bullshit all the way there?
You remember the last time you were hyping yourself?
Look, as long as we ain't got to get as long as we can kind of skip over the East and a couple teams in the East, I feel pretty good about what I'm doing.
All right, so let's move on to Warriors Nuggets. I'll start this one off. I'm gonna go Warriors in 6. I also think I could see Denver completely upsetting the Warriors and winning this first round. And only reason because this is Steph's first game back. He didn't get to get a couple regular season games in like Ja did before coming back for the playoffs. He could be a little rusty. Also because of Jokic being like a terrible matchup for the Warriors. They don't have the size. Looney has been a great defender all year. But I mean, there's only so much you can do against Jokic. I know the Warriors were hoping to have Wiseman, and that would have been much better as far as being able to defend Jokic. Draymond's going to take on some of that, but I mean, and Draymond's a great defender. And I know it's about a team defense and swarming Jokic and stuff like that. And that's why I can see them winning this series. But we could also see a series where Jokic just shows us why he's the MVP this year, takes over and goes off. But I'm still picking Warriors in 6. I think I agree with James. I think the Warriors want that Grizzlies matchup too. I think they're just not talking about it as much as the Grizzlies. I think because the Grizzlies knocked the Warriors out of the playoffs last year, it's revenge season next second round.
All right, for me, I'm going Warriors in 5. Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson. That's all I got. That's all that needs to be said. Go ahead, K-Dub.
Warriors in 5. Murray's not playing. Jokic is the only guy. Do whatever. It's not enough. And please, can we just get Denver the fuck up out of here? I just don't want to watch them.
All right, moving on then.
To another team that I don't want to fucking watch anymore. Can I start this one off?
Yeah, you can. No, actually, you can. You can.
Yeah, fuck Utah. I get these motherfucking teams out of the playoffs. So, like, I'm over it. But all right, I'm going Dallas. So it's Dallas, Utah. I got Dallas in 7. The only reason I got it in 7 is because, and trust me, it's a stretch for me to say it's 7. I think the calf injury to Luka ends up being a bigger deal than it needs to be. Like, to me, the Mavericks need Luka. Period. they need him to play. I think that if he misses the first game, and let's say they look at it and in that second game he's not playing with the same style. Like, I could see them being down 2 games early and then Luka having to come back. But if they don't have Luka, they're not going to win this series, which is the only reason I'm putting it out there. I just think the calf injury is a lot to fucking handle and a lot to deal with his frame. And anytime we see a lot of those leg injuries, especially in the playoffs, those motherfucking things linger and dudes do not play at 100%. Like, even when they have the injury, you can still, like the superstars, you can still count on them for a game or 2. But unless he's really feeling good, I'm hoping the Mavericks don't rush him back. Any Mavericks fan that was thought about how this was just a, hey, we just want to keep Utah on the toes, so they're not entirely sure if Luka's going to play or not. There's no advantage in that. Utah's still going to pretend or at least believe that Luka's coming back. I just don't understand the advantage there. It's basically just what is Luka going to do?
Okay, I'll go next. We can let our resident Mavs fan go last. And so I think I like your argument, and you kind of like making me sway a little bit. But I'm gonna go Mavs in 6. I almost picked Mavs in 7 just because you made a good argument. But I'm gonna go Mavs in 6, and because I'm thinking I'm technically giving them the one game without Luka, but I think we're underrating. I know, and by we, I just mean me and you, Kate. Obviously, James would never do this. I think we're underrating Jason Kidd's effect on that defensively against the Jazz. But obviously, I think that could be without Luka. They could have a low-scoring game and get lucky and win. Get lucky and win. I could see that. But I'm giving Utah the first game, and then I would have picked, if Luka was healthy for the first game, I would have picked Mavs in 5. So that's my logic. Yeah. I'm gonna give you the first game, and then Luka comes back, I'm assuming, and then they win in 6 instead of 5.
All right. So I got Mavs in 6, right? I think the Jazz are gonna implode. Okay, because they have been all year, and it's been talk between a rift between Gobert and Donovan Mitchell this whole time. It started off media fabricated, but then you look on Twitter and you see the picture of Gobert wide open in the paint and like putting his hands up, and Donovan not passing the ball. I think after this year, Gobert is gone.
Can I interject real quick, James?
But
I would say I don't think it was media fabricated, only because you remember it started with the COVID. It started with the COVID stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Years ago.
By media, I mean basically Twitter.
Okay.
Like it got to the point where Quinn Snyder had to address it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then Quinn's gonna be gone too. So he don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So So looking at it, we're 8-9 this year without Luka. One of those games was against the Jazz. We lost 116 and 120. And this is on Christmas Day. So I believe this is before we got Spencer. Okay. Looking at it now, I think Spencer's going to be in the starting lineup, replacing Luka. That'll be better for us defensively because, he's quicker. And Donovan Mitchell's just going to jack up threes. That's what he does. And they're going to get out their game plan, and we're going to win.
Okay.
I just think that Luka injury might linger longer than we're.
Not if we keep him out a couple.
I think that's fair.
I'm just saying that, like, if we say Luka's out week 1, right? The calf doesn't just. Well, he's 100%. I don't.
There's a timetable.
I get there's a timetable. I get it, but
right.
I'm just saying his size, his frame on that calf, playing the way he plays.
He's not quick twitch. He's slow.
I don't need him being any slower.
No, it don't matter.
Okay, all right.
His game is not predicated on speed.
All right,
it's not. But I see what
I can understand what you're saying in terms of like him putting pressure on the calf, like when he moves, like in all that weight coming on the calf, like cool. But like speed wise, like just
it's not speed wise, but I always say he's deliberate. But the thing about him, he's so deliberate in his movements. Like everything is just he's very cerebral as far as the way that he's going to move, and I just think that if he can't do the same thing he's doing, it might get into his head a little bit more. And those injuries are weird, man. I just think we've seen throughout playoff history lower leg injuries just being and causing some really weird shit happening in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's all.
Didn't
KD
have a calf strain and then
you remember last year? That was the thing was like, and that shit leaves that because the moment you have the calf and you got the other leg trying to overcompensate, you got pieces on this leg trying to overcompensate, and then by the time you look at it 2 games out, you're like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have rushed them back. Like there's always that conversation.
I believe we can beat Utah without Luka.
I just want Utah to be gone. Fucking do it in 4. I'm just getting the fuck out of here.
And they play at 1 today.
Let's move on to the Eastern Conference.
Oh, hold on. One other thing. That's some weird shit too.
What?
Are they playing you? I know there's some West Coast games that are getting played at 10 a.m.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
It's some weird shit. And I just think that's going to have some factor that we don't understand yet. It's fucking weird.
No, like look at it in terms of football. Like teams that go from the West to the East, like they're not as good when they play at 1 o'clock games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I'm cool with it. We don't have Luka. That's cool. The Jazz going to be slumming too. They already have tension between each other. Be pissed off. Fuck it.
All right.
They've blown so many fucking.
How about this? Once Donovan Mitchell start missing some threes, Rudy Gobert gonna give him a look, and then they're gonna fight.
I just
and
hate
I'm
watching
11.
Rudy Gobert play. I need Utah and Denver to get the fuck going.
Why? Why do you hate Rudy? Why do you hate Rudy?
I don't like those teams. I don't like watching them on TV.
Why?
I never watched the Jazz.
It's just boring.
They are.
How are they boring?
They're boring.
Gobert doesn't play like a big man. Like, all right, the defense, blah, 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 blah. I need him to be more physical. He just doesn't. And then Jokic is Jokic. This motherfucker lumber around making shit go in, and you're like, this doesn't make sense, but it's not entertaining. It's just weird. It's like watching an episode of. It's like watching an episode of Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's like,
you want to be Joker?
I want to be Joker.
Yeah.
No, when you were talking about earlier on, when you were saying how we were all hoopers, I'm like, not really. What I did do, even at my short stature,
I said
even at my short stature, here's the thing. I only played in the paint. And the only reason I played in the paint is that I was like, you remember Shaq versus Kobe on Christmas? You're not going to dunk? Yeah. That was me.
No, I mean, that was perfect for you.
That was me. Like, it was like,
that's why I'm a shooter. Because I'm like, no.
Yeah, nothing's happening in the paint while I'm there. Nothing's happening in the paint while I'm there. That being said, there might be a fist fight, but nothing's happening in the paint while I'm here. Yeah, it was pretty much that.
Multiple shootouts on the blacktop.
I didn't get to that stage. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they get to that stage. It's not fun.
I didn't play ball at PG County.
That's why I ran the 4.39.
I stayed in DC.
Let's move on to the conference formerly known as the Eastern Conference, but now the Eastern Conference. Let's go with that first matchup, 1-8, Miami, Atlanta. I really personally wanted Cleveland to win, just because I really like how that team is built. As far as in the play-in, I love Trey, so I'm not mad or anything, but I wanted Cleveland to win just because I wanted to see that size in the playoffs. Like, Jerry Allen was back, and Moses Mobley is great. And I just kind of wanted to see them with Darius Garland, see what they can do, just because I like the way they're made up. I think they can have a really bright future. I could see them maybe winning like a Detroit Piston-esque like championship, like in the next few years or something, just because of the way they're built. But anyway, moving on from that, got Miami and Atlanta. So K-Dot, kick us off.
Miami in 6.
Miami in 6? Okay. You want to elaborate, or is it just Miami?
Not really. It's just Miami in 6. Atlanta, they haven't really scared me all season. I know Trae Young gets into his bag sometimes, which we saw in the play-in, like shooting from the fucking logo and all kinds of shit. Cool. You win a couple games. Miami's clearly a better team. Spoelstra's clearly one of the best coaches in the NBA. Just give me Miami on their way to vie for the Eastern Conference Championship.
Okay. I can go. I'll go Miami in 5 because of Spo. That Trae Young shit ain't getting through with Spo.
All right. I'm going Miami in 5. Clint Capella's knee scares me. It could be 4. Depending on how that goes.
It could be 4.
Because John Collins, I don't think is coming back, right?
Who?
John Collins.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Because I know he didn't play the other day. So if he's not even back either, Bam is going to have a field day. And Jimmy Butler's going to get in the paint. And then if they clog the paint, kick out, you got Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. The Heat were the number 1 seed for a reason. So I could see Trae Young going off one day and like getting 1, but other than that, no.
Yeah, that's the one I gave him. That's the one. That's the one I gave him. All right, so we're all in agreement. All right, so the best, arguably the best series of the first round, we're getting Boston, Brooklyn. James.
All right, I got Nets in 7. Here's why. So reports just came out that Ben Simmons is ramping up. So the whole thing about him coming back in game 4 is possible still. KD is KD and Kyrie is Kyrie. And they're going to have a field day. But you still got to go up against the Celtics defense and Jaylen Brown. And yeah, so, I mean, it is what it is, but that's why I got Nets in 7, because KD's going to be KD.
This is almost a terrible matchup for Brooklyn.
Yeah.
In terms of like that Celtics defense, right? Because we're talking about Brooklyn, like their entire, like them winning is predicated on offense. They're not a defensive team at all. I don't think they even have a good defensive like coach on the staff. Like I don't know if they have their best defensive player is targeting game 4 through 6 to come back. Like it's a terrible matchup in terms of that. But does Boston have the offensive scoring power to keep up? On some nights they will, because Tatum and Smart and Brown, they can all hit and they can get out, they can get, you know, scorching hot, especially Tatum and Brown. And it could get scary. But with that said, Brooklyn in 6.
Okay, that.
I switched my pick 3 times since we've been here. This is one of those matchups you're like, man, fuck playoff seeding sometimes. Like this should not be a first round matchup. Like I hate that this is a first round matchup just because these are 2 really, really fucking good teams. The Ben Simmons thing doesn't scare me at all. I think him getting out on the court, I think immediate PTSD. Oh God, give me the ball. I can't hold this. Like
that's all he has to do in this offense.
I think he's going to be very, very scared to take a step with the goddamn ball. And trust me, I
don't think he is.
Fuck up, Brooklyn 7.
Yay!
Oh no, what did I say? Did I say Brooklyn or Boston?
You said Brooklyn. Fuck.
You said Brooklyn.
Okay. All right, well that's what I'm going with.
I
low-key want to change mine to Brooklyn in 7,
but you never wanted to tie so bad.
I'm going 7, period. But these, when I was, you know, on my bullshit earlier or a few weeks ago about the Eastern Conference is going to win it all.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the 2 of these 2 teams that are so goddamn powerful. I wish they had some more time to like spread their wings just a little bit and see what we got going.
Actually, yeah, give me Brooklyn in 7.
All right, so we all got Brooklyn in 7. Goddamn,
it's gonna go. Look, this is the best. This is the best seat. This is the best matchup. The only other matchup that I'm looking at that's like, okay, is Minnesota Memphis just because the aspect that these guys really don't like each other. But Boston's team is so fucking good. The only reason I'm picking Brooklyn is the star power. The only reason I'm picking Brooklyn is because of KD and because of Kyrie. That's it. Like,
guess what? That's why the Hawks won yesterday.
I mean, that's a
huge reason to pick them. Right. So it's like,
yeah.
And look, KD ain't hurt like last year. He's playing, and I just think Boston's fucking defense, man. Like either one of these teams, if you told me that they could make the finals, I'm there with you. I'd listen to the argument.
If Brooklyn didn't make that trade, I would have picked Boston.
Boston's 4th in the Eastern Conference pecking order for me.
Mm-hmm.
Boston's 4th, you said?
Yeah, in the Eastern Conference pecking order, they don't, like you said, they don't have the superstars. They don't. Like, I'm going superstars every time. I'm going for the superstars. Hey,
he was getting there,
and that's why I'm picking Brooklyn.
But he's not there. But this year he's not there.
I think if Boston keep the squad together for another season or 2, they're going to be up there. They're going to be right there.
They'll still be a piece away forever.
Oh, and Robert Williams plays for them, right? And he's out.
Yeah, he's a big part of their defense. All right, so moving on. Got Milwaukee, Chicago. I'll start this off. I'm going Milwaukee in 4. Chicago's been spiraling like fucking crazy. I think they really need Lonzo Ball back as far as like the team structure and everything. But yeah, and DeRozan's no longer playing out of his mind. so I got Milwaukee in 4.
All right, I got Milwaukee in 5. I have nothing else.
The only sweep I'm calling Milwaukee in 4. Milwaukee's clearly, in my opinion, the best team in the East, and I'm also saying, yeah, Chicago. Look, beginning of the season, I was really high on Chicago, but I still thought that they were a year away. And I think they'll be better next year. I think they'll be a better squad next year. But Chicago, like Keem has said, they've been in a fucking downward spiral for a minute now. It's just not.
I think Chicago's going to win a game, fam.
They're
could 7-15, I think, in their last 22.
You said what?
They're 7-15 in their last 22 games.
Not on playoff games, so we'll see.
I mean,
I know, but we'll see.
Yeah, why would that be different now?
The favorite one. The playoffs is different.
All right,
but better for them.
Yeah. Maybe.
Why is the playoffs better for them?
We'll see. Because
we'll see.
All right.
You never know.
Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton,
Caruso.
Did you really say that?
I did. Metrics, darling.
Okay.
So the last series of the first round, we got Drake versus Meek, Toronto versus Philly. We saw how that went before. And so with that, we'll start with you, K-Dot. Are you feeling Meek? Are you going to rock with the Drakes or the Meek Mills?
So a Drake verse or Drake couple bars from a Jack Harlow song got dropped, which means Pusha T's waiting. And I think Pusha T might make an appearance after eating the Arby's fish sandwich there in Philly. Give me Philly in 6. You know how I feel about Philly. There ain't no reason Doc Rivers sucks. James Harden disappears. And guess what? I'm riding with Philly. Joel Embiid, I can at least count on to win a series. And this is at least be it. I think Toronto's a problem for them, honestly. But I got Philadelphia winning through. I think give me Meek Mill and Pusha T over Drake.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'll go last.
Okay. All right. So I have the Raptors in 6. Here's why. Joel Embiid was on the JJ Redick pod, and they were discussing like who is your worst matchup, who gives you the most problems, and he said the Raptors because they're all fucking lengthy. Like it's tough to play against them because they're all just they keep going there. Like they don't stop. And James Harden's still on that team. They're depending on him. But when you depend on him in the playoffs, what happens, K-Dot? It's proven at this point, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you also have Doc Rivers. What happens, K-Dot? It's proven at this point, right? Even if the Sixers go up, they're going to go right back down.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're going to implode. And guess what else? James Harden didn't sign his contract. Oh, you think it was containment? No, I think it was for a reason. Because he knows if they don't make changes, I'm not fucking staying. And he's going to leave. And then your Sixers is just going to be ass. And then they got to start another process. And they got to trust that shit too. So nah, it's over.
There's a Harden said yesterday that he was.
He don't feel no pressure. You know why? Because he knows some shit. That
made me.
He knows he's bad in the playoffs. Yeah, he already knows it's gonna happen, so he don't care.
That to me felt like Russell Westbrook saying that I did everything I could. As a teammate. Like I was just like when Harden said, "I'm like,
meme, at least you tried." At least you tried.
Harden's quote yesterday had me feeling worse about the Sixers than I have all season. Was just like. You should feel pressure. You should absolutely feel pressure. Like I understand what you're trying to get off, but you got to have a more thoughtful response than that, James.
James Harden.
James Harden. Sorry. God damn it. I'm rocking with the Sixers. Son of a bitch.
All right.
Man, this could have been the time you change your pick.
No.
You did like just do it.
No. Yeah, wait until you hear what I got to say about next round. Sixers, baby.
Nah.
So I'm rocking with the Sixers too. It makes complete sense. So nothing James said was wrong. It just he applied it to the wrong round. Doc Rivers and James Harden are great in the first round. They're just fine in the first round. Hey, first round, nothing. No worries there. Second round, let's have another conversation. Third round, let's have another conversation.
Look, if it was if it was one of the other teams, I would have been with you. But against the Raptors,
I think the Raptors, again, I'm always going to be a superstars guy. So, hey, until you're like, I'm not even, it has nothing to do with James Harden. I'm banking on Embiid and fucking Tobias Harris or whatever. Like it doesn't, and Maxey. It doesn't fucking matter. They don't need James Harden to win this series. The Raptors are really good. They're a really well coached team. Nick Nurse is a top 3 coach in the league. He's up there with Spo.
That's why the Lakers won him.
And so they want every fucking body. Fuck them. And so like, and I want to give Nick Nurse a lot of credit. His best player is basically Pascal Siakam. And like Pascal isn't probably like top 20, right? And that Toronto team is still really good. They've got him. They've got Scotty Barnes playing well. Obviously Fred VanVleet. He's turned, Joe Budden has a line on one of his songs, in the right system, you can turn a role player to a superstar. And Nick Nurse has the right system. He hasn't turned any of them into superstars, but he's got them playing better than what they are, I feel. And with that, with that usually comes overachieving regular season teams. And so I think they will be out in, I'm kind of conflicting between 7 and 6, but I'll go Philly in 6. And I think if the Raptors won, I would be surprised. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't be. I would be surprised because they have no business like winning this. Like they're a good team. They have a championship mentality and a championship pedigree, but they don't have enough space, baby. Like they don't have enough space.
Yeah, I agree. It's all about superstars. Every year, it's always been who has the most superstars in the team. And that's the thing that I love. And that's the thing that I've always been saying about the East the last few weeks, right? Is I just look at the superstars in the East and I'm like, I just feel good about them going there. All right, so we're not doing the other rounds, but we do want to do who we have in the finals.
Yeah, so let's give our finals picks. You can start it off, and then give me your finals picks. Who you got coming out the West? Who you got coming out the East? And then who you got winning it all?
West, Phoenix, clearly the best team in the West. Period. The East is a little harder, but I'm going with the best superstar in the East, which is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
So I got a rematch, Phoenix, Milwaukee, and I'm going Milwaukee in 7.
Okay. James?
So the East, I got Milwaukee.
No, James, let me go first. Let me go, and then you go.
Oh shit, he's gonna do it, isn't he?
Because you're gonna take me out of it, and I just want to say you're gonna take me out of what I'm gonna say.
He's gonna
and you're gonna make me respond to you. So I know I'm about to respond to you. So let me go first.
Wait.
So coming out of the East, I have Brooklyn coming out of the East. For me, I think there's only 4 teams that can win a championship. 2 in the East, 2 in the West. And if Milwaukee won, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Because I just feel like Milwaukee has a little 2015, 2016 Golden State in them, where everybody's like, hey, you wouldn't have won if you motherfuckers hadn't got injured and shit like that. And then it's like, Giannis is showing people. And so if they beat Brooklyn, I would not be surprised. But I also get the same feeling I get that Cleveland kind of had in 2015, that if they were healthy when they played Milwaukee last year, if it wasn't for this and that, we would have won and been that championship team. It reminds me of that. And I think Brooklyn kind of gets that narrative workaround revenge this year. And they beat Milwaukee. Though I hope Milwaukee wins, actually. I really do. But Brooklyn, I'm taking out of the East. And out of the West, this might be a hard pick, and that's fine. I don't give a shit.
Oh, boy. Golden
State Warriors coming out of the West. And we get that matchup that we want. We get Steph versus KD, and Brooklyn wins.
All right. So
the all ESPN pick. He just wants ratings. He wants just the fucking annoying buildup. That's going to be the most annoying finals.
No, I think they're the best team in the West.
Really? Okay.
So
you want me to go?
Okay, so before Draymond went down and Steph went down, they were right there record wise with Phoenix. They were the best record in the West for a while. And then Draymond got hurt. And then they were kind of teetering with Phoenix. Let's not forget, hey, they had some injuries and that kind of fucked them more than the Chris Paul injury fucked Phoenix. So don't get me wrong, Phoenix is a great team. They're the other team in the West that I can see winning it, but I just don't think they will, because when we talk about playoff pedigree, Chris Paul and James Harden are 2 of the same.
I hope you're right. I literally hope you're right. I don't want to see Phoenix play.
Wait, James Harden has gone to the finals though, right?
What? Okay, see.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Okay. So I have Milwaukee beating the Nets, right, to move on through that series. Then I have Milwaukee also beating the Heat to reach the finals. I have Dallas beating the Suns, and then Dallas plays Golden State. This game I have going 7. and I have Luka pulling it out. And then, so it's Dallas and Milwaukee in the finals. And I have the Mavs in 6. Fuck all y'all.
Fuck, he
Fuck all
did it? Oh my God. I thought you stopped there.
I have
You
the Mavs
did
in
it?
6. There we go. I said it and I feel it. So it is what it is. I ain't gonna hedge my bets like K-Dot. I'm gonna tell you what I feel, and that's what it is. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I don't think I did a lot of hedging through my picks, honestly.
Nah, like you start off by saying like, oh, I don't know, but I'm still doing it.
I didn't hedge bets. I've been very cautious in saying that I don't necessarily feel confident. I didn't hedge them.
All right, you know what? I don't feel confident, but here we are.
Nigga.
All right, let's move on.
All right.
Oh, you couldn't wait to move on. Next time.
Yep. Like, hey,
We're gonna. It's okay. We're gonna segue right into a James segment. Let's talk Derek Carr.
Okay.
Derek Carr got a new deal from the Las Vegas Raiders. He's set to earn $141.3 million over the life of the 4-year deal. Really, they announced it as a 3-year extension, but it's really 4 years. 4 years. I think the average is about.
It's a 4-year deal, but a 3-year extension.
Yeah. So yeah.
Like, so they're reporting the numbers wrong.
Yeah. And so like I think it's he's averaging out to about 35 mil per season. One of the things I want to add in that is that put him in the top 7 amongst QBs being paid.
5th highest paid.
Yeah, highest paid QBs.
I don't think
I think we can all agree that Derek Carr's never been a top 7 quarterback, but he just got paid top 7 money
for 2 weeks 4 years ago.
So yeah, I have some more details on the contracts, but I do want to hear what our resident accountant has to say.
No. I'm waiting for y'all to go because I got some shit for y'all. Like, I got some shit for y'all.
Okay. $100 million of that money is coming in the next 3 years. And the extension contained like a $7.5 million signing bonus and just $25 million guaranteed at signing. There's another $40 million in guarantees that come guaranteed in February of 2023. So to
at the Super Bowl.
To the PFF guys' point, they think that it's really a 1-year deal, and that they'll cut Derek Carr after, which it's not. I don't think it's really a 1-year deal. I think it's if you're just looking at the contract, his dead cap is the highest this year. His dead cap this year is $22 million. In 2023, it's 5.6. In 2024, it's 3.7. In 2025, it's 1.8. Like, it's a well-worked contract. They did their thing with this one. Now, his cap hit now, to be fair, in those years is this year it's only 19. 2023 in 2023, it's 34 mil. In 2024, when he's 33, it's 43 mil. Really more like 44 mil, but we'll say 43 anyway. In 2025, it's 43 mil. And when you consider that cap hit and Derek Carr's ability, I think that's interesting. K-Dot, what are your thoughts on it?
I think the Raiders did a good job locking Derek Carr in for next few seasons, and we have no idea. Once again, as I'm blaming for everyone in every contract situation, the goddamn Jacksonville Jaguars and that Christian Kirk contract put everything out of whack. All right. So quarterback salaries are probably going to get astronomical in the next couple seasons. And anything you can do to lock anybody down to a good amount. I mean, you talk about 5th most when everybody's deal gets done in the next year or two. Derek Carr's contract is going to look where it probably outside the top 10. So it's not going to be that bad. So like, if I'm looking at it, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. The Raiders got their guy locked in. There's nobody else that they can go out and get right now that's better than Derek Carr. You bring in Devontae Adams to play with Derek Carr. It's the only reason he wants to come to fucking Vegas, right? So you get these guys locked in. You make sure they can do whatever they want to. Josh McDaniels coming as a new head coach. You got to know that he wanted this too. Otherwise, they probably don't pull the trigger on all of this. So, hey, they got their squad locked in for the next 3 years. I'm not going to say I hope it works out for them, but maybe it works out for them and they got the 3 guys that they want in McDaniels, Devontae, and Derek. It's fine. They didn't overpay for anything. It is cool. It's a fine deal. I actually think it's better for the Raiders than it is for Derek Carr itself. But
no, it is. It is. I think I think it is going to work out for them. They're not going to win a Super Bowl, but like it's going to work out. They'll be competitive in like a
Wait till we do our NFL picks.
Oh God. I think they're going to be a winning team consistently for a little while. And like in contention for the playoffs and stuff like that. I think this is like I told James this before. I told you guys this before. He's Joe Flacco. Derek Carr is Joe Flacco. He just has to. He's not playoff Joe yet. He has to be playoff Joe for them to get.
They gotta get there.
To get that too. He's been the 1 year. And so he's got to be playoff Joe to get that Super Bowl. But the contract is fine. It's fine. It doesn't matter in terms of it's not a bad contract.
All right. Let me tell you why it's a great contract for the Raiders. All right. So as you mentioned, starting off, right? They can potentially cut him after the first year, which is 3 days after the Super Bowl. They have that window to cut him, and then that's it, right? They're not going to do that unless Derek Carr has a horrendous year, right? He has like, what was it, like 7.5 million guaranteed for an injury, and then his 2023 salary is guaranteed. This year he's making 19 million. So everybody's reporting was like, oh yeah, he's in the $40 million per year club. And I was like, no, the fuck he's not. That like people are forgetting the whole, like this whole year, which is at like 19 million or something. The average of his contract is 35.344,379 and 80 cents. Right?
Did you have to get that detail with that number?
Yeah, he did.
I did. And the total amount of his deal is $141,377,519. Okay.
How many cents?
It's being reported that he's getting 65.3 million guaranteed, but that's if they keep him on the roster after this year, which they most likely will. It doesn't make sense not to. I do want to go to this whole thing about people saying like, oh my God, he's taking up so much of the cap, right? I believe his cap number actually went down this year based on the deal. But then if you look at since 2011, right, the salary cap raised 5.25% on average. And that includes the negative 7% dip in 2021 because of COVID. Okay. So based on that, like this year, the salary cap is 208.2 million. They're projecting that the cap is going to rise to 220 million to 225 by next year. Okay. Each year that deal is going to look so much better. So like, Kate, you raised that point. You can yawn if you want. Like, I'm a numbers guy.
I know.
Like the numbers look fucking great here. The numbers look great here. People are saying all this shit and fucking what's Pro Football Talks dude's name?
Mike
Florio.
Mike
Florio, you a bitch. Straight up. You see that shit he said?
I like Mike.
Fuck Mike. He a bitch. I tell him to his face too, because I don't care. I don't have that energy for people, but him, fuck him. Like this dude's like, oh yeah, Derek Carr's fake. He's faking it. You don't even know this nigga. You just mad that he blocked you because you on some negative bullshit. This man was going to retire after his first fucking season to preach. And you gonna say like, oh yeah, it's all fake? Man, fuck out of here. So yeah, it's gonna be a great team friendly deal for the Raiders. And Derek Carr said that in his press conference. He said the last time I signed the deal, I lost my best friend, which is Khalil Mack. He's trying to make sure that shit don't happen again. We still have to re-sign Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. What's concerning me is nobody's really talking about Darren Waller right now. I pray to God they don't trade him during the draft whenever the fuck the draft is. Next week, next 2 weeks. But we'll see.
Why, what's is it he having some issues or
no. He's definitely not having issues. The speculation is that the Raiders are going to try to go back into the first round. Who's the only player on the roster that's not locked down that we can do that with? It's Darren Waller.
I don't see McDaniel's trying to get rid of Waller right now.
I don't think he is either. It doesn't make sense really, but it's like, hey, let's take care of this before like
that's a nasty offense, man.
It is.
Yeah.
And we have Chandler Jones now too.
And I'm still hoping it crashes and burns just to see you cry.
I'm not gonna lie. Like if you'd met me like 10 years ago, I probably would have cried. I would have punched the wall, some shit. But
I've seen you get that animated on the show about the Raiders. I've absolutely seen that.
Al Davis, really, just because of what that means to me personally, just based on my life and all that other stuff. But other than
Please
that,
get us out of here before I say something about Al Davis. Get us the fuck out of here.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
Speaking
of, you get a pass now.
Contracts,
you get a pass because I know your heart lies.
Someone else got a contract, and this is a deal that I'm proud to shit on. I was ready to shit on. Ryan's not here, but I'm still excited to shit on it. If K-Dot, if you could clip this to send it to him personally, that's fine.
I won't do that work.
But Stefon Diggs got a new deal. He got $70 million guaranteed, second highest for wide receiver. After Davante Adams, Davante Adams is arguably the best receiver in the NFL. So you would assume that Davante Adams should be the wide receiver with the most guaranteed money. I think we can all agree that Stefon Diggs is not the second best wide receiver in the NFL. But hey, let's go beyond those. Let's look at some numbers. He got $70 million guaranteed. Next deal is 4 years worth $96 million. Of that, $47.9 million was guaranteed at signing, which is a fucking lot. It's a fucking lot to guarantee at signing, but I respect it. And his new contract averages around like $21 million per. And let's look at the almost 30-year-old. So it's cap hit this year. Obviously, it always comes down that first year because of that big ass signing bonus. $11 million cap hit this year, perfect. $20 million cap hit 2023, then it's 26, 27, back to 21. The dead cap this year would be 56, next year 45, 2024, 25, 2025 when he's 32, it would be then it kind of drops to 10 and 3 when he's 33 and 34. So they can get off of him after his 32-year-old season.
Fam, that's not as bad as you think it is.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. It's just I'm always never going to pay not a top five wide receiver money.
It's not going to be top 5 wide receiver money in the next few years anyway.
Is Hop getting a new deal?
I believe so.
Who else is up for a new deal? Because I'm thinking of like Justin Jefferson won't be up for like 2 years. Jamar won't be up for like 4 years.
See, but here's the thing. You see the shit that's going on with Kyler Murray, right?
Yeah.
If they pay Kyler Murray early, right, it's going to look bad in the beginning, but as time goes on, it's going to look even better, right? Because in 2024, the cap is supposed to be $260 million.
And Hopkins is probably going to get a new deal because his, I think his salary or his cap number going into 2023 is like 30 mil. It's like fucking insane money.
This is cap number?
I don't know if it's cap. Yeah, it's 13% of his cap, 30 mil in 2023, the 26 mil in 2024. Whereas Stefon Diggs' contract, I think with the 9 mil the first year, averages out to be about 20 mil a year.
Yeah.
Which if you look at about 21 million a year, 7 million lower than Devontae Adams, 5 million lower than Tyreek Hill. He's the same age as Hill and a year younger than Adams. So you look at what also Stefon Diggs did as soon as he came to the Buffalo offense. Josh Allen's passer rating goes up 22 points. They're the second ranked offense in the National Football League. I still think I'm higher on Stefon Diggs than you are. I don't want to rehash the top 5 wide receiver argument unless you really want to. But if I'm looking at where the same thing we said about the Derek Carr deal, right? Mm-hmm. This locks Stefon Diggs in to basically retire in Buffalo with Josh Allen through 2027 or whatever the fuck deal is going on. Which to me is cool if you got a guy locked in that long who probably won't be able to command when you're talking about the end years of that contract. Stefon Diggs would be 37 years old, probably not at the production level in which you'd ever think about re-signing him or having to redo the deal past that point, right? You got him locked in when wide receiver contracts, they're only getting crazier. Look, we don't know what Jacksonville's going to do next offseason as far as who they're going to pay. Too much goddamn money. This is where we're at. The wide receiver market was broken. If I'm looking at the Tyreek deal and the Devontae deal, the Stefon Diggs deal is a fucking bargain as far as what Buffalo was able to do.
You think it's better than the Tyreek Hill deal?
I said it's a bargain. I'm not saying I'm saying it's a bargain for Buffalo.
Is it a bargain in comparison to the Tyreek Hill deal?
Yes. Even though it's about $5 million average per year more for Hill. Do I think Hill's a much better receiver? Yeah, I do. But I'm saying the Christian
Hill
Kirk
changes
thing.
the offense completely. That's why we all think that Kansas City's not going to make the playoffs next year.
I'm not going that far. But
Me and Keem are.
I'm not. Look. There's still a lot of offseason left.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like looking at the Tyreek Hill deal, like his dead cap this year is 52. Next year 46. And after that, he'd be 30. And then his dead cap is 15 mil, 10 mil, and 5 mil. Like you can get off of him after he turns 30 and just have $15 million.
But that's what we're also looking at. Tyreek Hill is older by a year, right?
No, he's younger.
Is he younger by a year? No, Devontae's older by a year. You're right.
Yeah, Devontae's older, and he's younger than Diggs and
I'm just looking at annual average salary. Because I'm like the thing, at least with the Stefon Diggs thing, is like we know what it is she's going to be paid year in and year out. Like it's not, it doesn't raise or do anything dramatic as far as any ladders. Like it's solid, and Buffalo knows what it is they can do within their salary cap. It's going to get raised next year. I think it's fine. I don't think Stefon Diggs is going.
It's better off to pay everybody now rather than later.
Right. And
that's why you got like Lamar Jackson's waiting. He's doing the deal himself.
He's being risky as fuck, but yeah, he's waiting.
Yeah, like,
better than yourself.
You see Harbaugh talking about it. It's like, hey, whenever Lamar's ready, we'll be ready. Like, so they waiting on him. He's like,
yeah,
you know
100%.
I'm gonna let Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, all them dudes get paid, and I'm gonna come in and get $1 billion.
He's doing what Joe Flacco did the same thing. He happened to win the Super Bowl. Like the Ravens tried to give him an extension. He didn't like the numbers. He was like, all right. And it was in his fifth year. He went out, won the Super Bowl. They had to pay him, and we were never the same. But I mean, if you're going to bet on yourself and you end up winning the Super Bowl, I mean, and then you get paid to the number that you want, I think it's the smartest shit. And I mean, I know people were worried about him as far as like injury concern and stuff like that. I'm not really worried about that as much. Lamar before this year was pretty good in terms of injury. Like the only time he was out because he fucking had a stomach bug. And so like I get it. Hey, hopefully it works out for him. I hope he wins Super Bowl this year. I'm picking him to win the Super Bowl this year. But
like I'm looking one more thing. I'm looking at the percentage of cap for the last 5 big receiver deals or whatever it is. But I gotta argue where they're at. Mm-hmm. Percentage of cap for Stefon Diggs, it never goes above 10.4% any year. And this is going under the guys of them escalating what it is they're doing as far as the salary cap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where Devontae Adams get up to 15, almost 16 at some points. Tyreek Hill gets to 14. The last year gets up to 18%. DeAndre Hopkins right now, going into this year is at 8.6, but that's going to go up to 13.9 and 11. I think it sits pretty if he's below the 10% the entire way through. Like I think it makes sense.
Tyreek's never going to see the 18% because I looked at the contract and it's like his cap hit will be $50 million in 2026. They're not going to see that. He's not seeing that. No way.
Where's the potential out?
The 4 year after the 4th years, because it's 28 million in 2025. Dead cap would be like 10 million. There's a potential out is after year 2025. Before that 2026 year.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, just is what it is, bro.
I'm just saying.
It's not okay. It's not
bad.
I just want to shit on Stefon Diggs. That's all.
Why do you want to shit on? Why do you hate? Why are you so low on Stefon Diggs?
He's a turd.
I don't hate him.
No, but you're lower. You are low on Stefon Diggs, I think, compared to a lot of other people.
Oh, low as a wide receiver? Yeah, probably. Because I think he's I like him as a person. I love him as a person. He's dope. He's dope. I loved him on I Am Athlete and all that stuff. But in terms of a wide receiver, I don't think he's top 5 or top 6 or top 7. I think he's like right on the outskirts. That's all. I don't think I don't like at 29 to have like one top 5 year or maybe 2 top 5 years is like that makes you a top 5 receiver. I don't know.
I mean,
but I'm looking at who he's had to play with on the other side. You can't have the monster numbers,
right? That and like you got to look at what his peers think about him too.
I don't think his peers think he's a top 5 receiver.
I know. I disagree with that. I hear a lot of people say Diggs' name, but I'm saying look at his stats. If you're looking at the time that he had in Minnesota, right? If you're looking at just average target shares or whatever, Adam Thielen's eating up a lot of that fucking number, eating up a lot of those numbers. He still crossed the 1,000-yard mark those last 2 seasons in Minnesota, right?
Yeah,
even with Justin Jefferson even coming into his own, right? So you had Jefferson, Thielen, and Diggs.
Jefferson wasn't there when Diggs was there.
I thought he was there the first round pick.
You're right.
Buffalo.
It was Jefferson and Thielen. Never mind. Sorry. But Thielen eats up a lot of fucking targets in that offense.
Look what Justin Jefferson does despite Thielen eating up a lot of targets. There's a difference between that ability
I get it.
and Stefon Diggs.
But Thielen's numbers aren't the same as what they were when Diggs was there. They're clearly giving Justin Jefferson the football a lot more than they were as far as the Stefon Diggs thing. But even if we're looking at what the last 2 seasons of Buffalo, 2020, 1,500 yards, 127 receptions, 8 touchdowns. It's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Looking at it, 2017 targets. Okay, but 2018, Stefon Diggs saw
149 targets, 102, crossed the 1,000-yard mark, 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, and Thielen saw 153 targets and had better numbers. He saw 4 more targets and had like 200 more yards and more touchdowns. But hey.
All right. Okay.
Look, I'll say this. It ain't always about stats. Because the wide receiver position is the one where you can beat your man off the line every fucking time, be wide the fuck open and not get the ball.
Which was an issue for Diggs.
Yeah.
In Minnesota, which is why
it
was an issue.
Kirk, fuck. That shit was fun.
He would push the ball down the field to Thielen, even though Thielen was more built as far as maybe it's just a racial thing, but Thielen seems like he's more of a slot receiver. I don't know why.
Intermediate routes.
Yeah, he's more like a 10 and N, like a dig route type.
But you see all the times that Diggs was pissed off, and the Minnesota fans also being like, "What is Kirk Cousins doing?" Yeah. When it came to the Stefon Diggs thing, and all I'm saying is that when he finally did go to Buffalo, where he was the guy, 1,500 yards, like he was the league leader in yards and receptions when he first went to Buffalo. The league leader.
He had the 1 year.
But last year was a damn good year.
It was a good year, but it was a good year.
He's doing this shit in Buffalo too, by the way.
Yeah.
What? What's wrong with Buffalo?
Cold as fuck.
Right.
Snowy.
Like, fam, wait, Keith, let me ask you this question.
I mean,
you from the South, right?
Yeah.
All right. You ever played football in the snow?
No.
Exactly. It's a different
thing.
All right, but let's not act like they play football in the snow 16 games a year.
No, but it's not even. But it's not even the snow. It's not even just the snow. It's not even just the snow. I'm saying when it's -10. Right. What I'm saying. I don't know. I just think Stefon Diggs is a much better player than I think you give him credit to be. That's it. That's all.
What am I giving him credit for?
I don't know.
I think he's a top 8 receiver and not a top 5 receiver. Oh my God! It's like there's.
I know, but that doesn't signify the level of discussion in regards to the contract.
Right.
Like it's not crazy. That's all I'm saying. It seems like it's crazy. It's not crazy.
I thought you had more negative energy.
All the other people about to get paid.
You also had a lot more negative energy in that top 5 receiver convo when it came to Stefon.
I understand that.
Yeah, he's not
like top 5 is a.
I think he's right on the cusp. I think he's right on the cusp. And I'm saying, like, overall, I know you got big love for DK Metcalf. Fine,
he's not top 5.
I don't think DK is top 5, and I don't think if I had.
Guess what? He gonna ask for 30.
That's the other thing. DK Metcalf's contract. He's about to ask for the world. I look at that Stefon Diggs and thing, and I'm like, if I'm looking at what DK is probably going to command, I'll take Diggs in that contract. I'm sorry, I'm good with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are a lot of receivers about to get, but that's the other thing. In the next couple of years, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin's got to get re-signed. Debo, that 2019, the money's going about to come.
Yeah,
that's fucking going to get ridiculous.
It's going to be
all right. So we're moving on to the Commanders' corner.
Commanders' corner. actually great news if you're a Commanders fan. Which, I mean, bad news if you're Dan Snyder. That's pretty much it.
Men lie, women lie, so do numbers.
The numbers lie? Oh, you mean, gotcha. So in the news this week, with the Congress investigating Dan Snyder and the sexual harassment allegations, and now it's been getting to the financial improprieties. There was the report last week. I think we talked about it a little bit. Jason Friedman testified in front of Congress and basically was like, hey, Washington was doing some nefarious things with the numbers as far as what it is they were doing ticket sales wise. We didn't see any proof until we finally started seeing some of the receipts as far as emails and everything, and now everybody's investigating. So what it happens, looks like is that what the Commanders were doing, and there are emails talking about this. They would lie about the ticket prices, or at least what they're reporting to the league as far as sales, ticket prices, blah blah blah. So let's say, for instance, you go
questions.
Hold on, you go online, you see a Washington Commanders ticket for $55. They tell the league that the tickets cost $44. They take that $11 difference, and what they were doing was funneling it through Kenny Chesney and college football matchups that were happening at FedEx Field that they call the juice. And that way the NFL could never see the numbers as far as the events that weren't happening. If you look back at Washington, you start looking at all the pieces matter. We used to talk about how the field used to be such dog shit, right? Especially in the offseason. Like, you'd start week one, and why is the stadium like this? And it was because there was a Rolling Stones concert and an X concert and this, that, and the other. And there used to be reporters would ask Dan, like, or the organization, hey, you guys are seeing, like, you aren't replacing the field after you just had an entire offseason worth of concerts and stuff, or even during season concerts where they wouldn't do shit. And why Washington was so hell-bent on having them, now we think we kind of know why. It was where they had the slush fund, as far as where they were able to hide all the fucking cash. It's a bad look, and I think that we're finally at a particular situation or at a point where Dan Snyder is the closest he has ever been to losing his team. And it's not because of sexual harassment allegations. It's not because of suing grandmothers. It's because he's fucking with the money of other billionaires, players, and fans at this point, which is also the other thing, which is that they take security deposits for season tickets. Your loyalist fans, your season ticket holders, and they make it damn near impossible to get your money back so they can hold on to it. They still think there's like $5 million or something that was left in the fund last time that they checked. It isn't good. It's a terrible look. And Dan's hurting not only the fans, but the players and the other owners. You can't do what he's doing. And I think that right now what he's also done is provide the league an out. I've talked about it before here on the pod that the league know they fucked up on the initial 10 mil thing because they didn't expect it to get this far in the media. I still think Dan releases the emails to get John Gruden fired, which then puts us under a microscope, the entire league under a microscope, and the league is able to kind of wash their hands of the first thing because of the new allegations by, I forget her name, Tiffany Thompson, or I forget her name, sorry. That does the allegation that Dan Snyder himself did something inappropriate at a dinner, which then gets, whoa, we didn't know anything about that. Now we get to investigate. Now, even on top of that, the league, who does not want a cold war with Dan Snyder, that knows Dan Snyder will do anything he possibly can to keep a team, get to kind of put their hands up and say, hey, let's let Congress figure it out. There might be a criminal investigation. We ain't got to do shit except sit back and watch this thing unfold. And I think that if you're looking at where Congress is finding, you're looking at who they're talking to. We know there are a lot of NDAs the guys had to sign, including Friedman. I'm waiting for the subpoenas to start rolling. If they get to talk to like a Brian LaFemina, who's been off the team since 2018, when they start talking to some of these other guys who got ousted, there's going to be a lot of interesting shit that comes out, and hopefully it ends with Dan Snyder having to lose his team.
You said that they were talking about the whole ticket and money distribution issues via email, right?
Yep, the juice.
Wasn't this swept in all the emails that the NFL got, or no?
So the NFL is who is that's the other thing. It's like, all right, back when we were first talking about what happened with the Bruce Allen emails, right? I said that the John Gruden thing didn't really mean anything to me.
Yeah.
The thing that was the absolute biggest red flag, or the two biggest red flags, the mini red flag was Adam Schefter and the Mr. Editor comment.
Mm-hmm.
The second red flag was Jeff Pash, the NFL's league counsel, league counsel, being chummy buddies with Bruce Allen and cracking jokes. That did not look right. Now, if you're the NFL, how do you let Dan Snyder be able to steal the money from the rest of the league? If you're another owner, what are you thinking? Hold on, how was he even able to do this? You guys didn't audit or check the numbers? Is there somebody that was in bed with Dan on this?
Well, they had two different books.
Well, but regardless, there should be systems in place to prevent something like this from happening. If you're another owner in this league, you've got to be, you're looking at Roger Goodell and those guys and be like, number one, how the fuck did this happen? Was it either somebody was complicit or is it incompetence? Because there's no reason something this simple shouldn't be figured out.
For years. But my question is, you said that they found like more evidence came to light when they were talking about it through emails, right? But I'm saying, didn't the NFL themselves have all these emails? So
the NFL handed over 200-something thousand documents to the congressional committee last week. Some of it was apparently in it, but it was hard to know, from what I understand, what it is that was even being talked about. Nobody knows what the juice is. Out of context, right? You have Jason Friedman's testimony now adding to it where it starts to make more sense.
You saw the text messages.
Right. So like it's all starting to come together. Not to mention Friedman, it looks like, look, if you sign an NDA, you can't go public with anything. And especially after you sign an NDA with Dan Snyder, you definitely don't want to go public with anything. This motherfucker has gone to court in India to file lawsuits just to get shit in discovery. He will go to the far ends of the earth to fuck you up, period.
Yeah, he sued a grandma.
He's a vindictive asshole, right? So with that being said, but the only thing to get you out of the NDA is if Congress or the courts come to you and say, hey, we're subpoenaing you to talk on this, that, and the other. The subpoenas are going to start flying. There's not anybody that Dan Snyder really has any goodwill with. The dudes that even were in his corner have been getting thrown under the bus. Bruce Allen probably would have went to bat for him up until earlier last year. There's not a lot of guys in his corner, which is cool with me.
The cool part about it is the fact that like once Congress starts investigating something, and it was like, yeah, we were looking at this, but then we also found this, so let's investigate this. It's like, oh, we found this too. It could get to the point where it's spread throughout not just y'all team, but all teams. I can see it going that they audit the whole fucking NFL. So
yeah, and I just happening. And the last thing I want, there are two last points real quick. Number one, this is fucking hilarious that we would have never gotten to this point if Dan Snyder wasn't being vindictive and released the emails that got John Gruden fired, which is still my theory, which is that he was that short-sighted in his retribution or payback against Bruce Allen that he pretty much just put the entire microscope on himself. None of this would have happened if the emails don't get leaked, right? So that's number one. Number two, Commanders fans out there, I'm going to speak to you directly. I don't give a fuck about your political ideology, which I know a lot of you guys do lean right, which is why you're so upset about Congress spending time on this and anything else. Morally, if you are on the side of Dan Snyder, or you find yourself defending Dan Snyder, just know you're wrong. Just know you're wrong. There's no way in which you can defend this man and know that you're doing the right thing. You're just fucking wrong. Let go of the politics. Let go of all the other bullshit. You're still upset about the team name. Fine, cool. Keep that energy. But do not find yourself in the corner of Dan Snyder on this. And I'm seeing a lot of it. Just fucking stop.
Okay. You mentioned Adam Schefter. Segueing into Adam Schefter, he got in a little trouble. A lot of backlash last week because of how he presented Dwayne Haskins passing. And sirs, I want to start off by saying, rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins. Just kind of like reading some of the stories and like seeing some of the videos, like he was super loved, like great relationship with his sister, like and stuff like that. And like I just feel for everybody who was close to Dwayne Haskins because he seemed like he touched a lot of people. And so I want to extend my condolences and say, man, I wish I knew more about him. before he passed and stuff like that, because it seemed like a great dude, just a great dude. But beyond that, just, you know, you guys give your thoughts on Dwayne Haskins, then we can get into like the Adam Schefter thing if you want.
All right, so I'm gonna go first because I know K-Dot has a lot.
I have some.
Yeah, I hate it. Like, outside of Adam Schefter, we do need to address Gil Brandt. I think that's how you say his name.
Gil
Did y'all
Brandt.
see that? Yeah, Gil Brandt. He writes for NFL Network.
No. He used to be the executive for the Cowboys. 93-year-old white man that spent a lot of time in Texas.
Yeah, he basically said that he was living to die. Though, like, that's what he said, and just tasteless, disrespectful. He comes out and apologizes, but at the same time, it's like, why would you even think to say something like that?
Because he's old and white.
Like, and the same thing with Adam Schefter. It's like, why? Like, why do you think of people that way? The man just lost his life. Like, why is the first thing that comes to your mind is talking about his struggles? Like, you're announcing to the world that he passed away, and you bring up his struggles.
And it's not his struggles, like personal
struggles with like football.
It's he didn't make it in football in the pros. Great college quarterback, didn't make it in the pros.
He called him a failure.
And yet he's still playing. Like, so is that really a failure? Like, he's still actually playing. He's on a team. He's doing what he loves. Like, there's not that many people.
Fuck that. Even he's on a team yet. Well, he was on a team, yes. He was providing for his family.
Mm-hmm.
He was providing.
That's the thing, is that he boiled him down to nothing but a player and a failure at that, which is why are we talking about this right now?
And it's still inaccurate.
I'll touch, I guess, on the Adam Schefter thing since we went there just a little bit. But the thing with Adam that, like, I've been thinking about, and I saw Jason Concepcion actually alluded to this too. I don't want to diagnose motherfuckers, but I wouldn't be surprised if Adam's on a spectrum of some sort. It always seems as though when it comes down to the emotional aspect of something, he doesn't quite get it. Ian Rappaport had a hell of a convo or interview that he was talking about why he wasn't the one to break the Dwayne Haskins thing. He was at a softball game with his kids, got the alert, and said, hey, I don't need to be first on this. I don't need to be first on this. So he was like, I don't need to break this story. I don't need to, because there's a certain element of like, do you want to be first? Do you want to be the most accurate, or do you want in a moment where someone's dying to be the most empathetic you can be, which is what you should be shooting for? He's a person. And I think the thing that Adam that really pissed me off more than anything, and I talked to a few friends that were almost defending him, was in not defending him in the sense of like, oh my God, why is the big deal? It's more about, oh, look, it was an honest mistake. He was just trying to break the news. I was like, hey, hang on. Adam Schefter makes a living off the backs of players playing this goddamn game. No matter how it is you twist it, that's what's happening. And the fact is that it's got to be a certain part of you that has a human heart and emotion behind the people that you're trying, and not just a commodity that gets you where you're at. And that's how it feels. It feels very transactional the way he's talking about human beings. And I think that's the thing that we need to kind of be aware. This is why when I looked at the Adam Schefter shit from the emails when it came to Bruce Allen and everything, it feels as though he's never breaking stories about the players. It never feels as though he's got a relationship with the players and their teams. It's always about what he's doing as far as being a mouthpiece for the organizations. And it feels very much top-down view, very much like I'm looking at these guys as just numbers and a commodity to help me in my career. And it doesn't feel right. And Adam needs to work on that part of it. Even if that's not where your heart is, Adam, it shouldn't be the perception of you. Change it.
Yeah.
As far as Dwayne goes, when Dwayne was having his struggles and we were doing this podcast during the COVID season, when we first started doing this stuff, and you saw the pictures of Dwayne out doing X, Y, and Z, and there were some things that used to annoy us or whatever about Dwayne. The bottom line with Dwayne is that regardless of how you felt about him in certain like little moments, you were always rooting for him. And the reason you were always rooting for him is that he's a good dude. He's just a good guy. You see the way that he's impacted as far as like, I'm from the DC area. I know James is from this area or wherever he's claiming at any given point, because it could be the Bay Area tomorrow. He's been a dude that's been really ingratiated within the community, especially PG County and the area surrounding Washington. you talk to anybody, he's been a quality guy that's willing to give the shirt off his back to help out whoever. He's got friends in which you know the impact. You just look at the reaction. Terry McLaurin had one of the best. He wrote what Dwayne meant to him, and it had me in tears. Chase Claypool, who recorded the video of him reacting in the car, regardless how you feel about it, it was a very vulnerable moment, and you see what Dwayne meant to guys. He's just always been a good guy. You saw back to the Ohio State days, everything else. He's always been the dude that we've been rooting for. And I think the saddest part is that there was an excitement level for me as a Washington Commanders fan to see him land in Pittsburgh. I was like, it ran its course in Washington. Doesn't mean I'm not rooting for him. I'm very, very glad that he ended up in Pittsburgh. And not just from a play standpoint, even though I think it provided one of the best opportunities for him, but from a man standpoint and from a growth standpoint and from where it is that he was going to get to just as a person, having Mike Tomlin there, speaking with him and being there in the locker room with those guys. It's just so painful that we'll never get to see him reach the levels at which he could reach as a man, as a husband, as a football player, all of those things. He got taken away from us before he got to reach any sort of level of which would have been incredible to see. And we were all waiting for that comeback story. I was waiting for that quarterback competition in Pittsburgh and for him to beat out Mitch Trubisky. I wanted to see that. I really, really wanted to see that. He's just a good guy. And it really, really sucks. And it happened a few days after we were celebrating Sean Taylor's birthday here in Washington. And it's just a reminder just how quickly life can get snuffed out.
I got the news after I left a funeral.
That's
so I'm like sitting in the car, like I get to the car at the parking lot, I check my phone, I'm like, nah, fam. And like, you know, like the funeral line when they got the casket and the hearse and like, so everybody's like getting ready to go and like everybody just sitting in their car. Cause like a lot of the people that I went to the funeral for actually have the obituary right here. A lot of those people are big, like in the sports industry here. So I'm sure a bunch of them knew him. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was just crazy.
And I think I think I was the one that posted it to the thread that we have on the.
I think so.
And the whose link I used was Adam Schefter, which I think the other part of the Adam Schefter thing that's a little filthy. People learned about it through that tweet. He was like the first one to break the story.
Yeah,
it just is. Come on, man.
Yeah, and not on the same level, like at all. But you saw what I don't know if we talked about this yet, but what Woj did to what's the Lakers former head coach? Vogel. How he broke the news that Vogel's fired and Vogel didn't even know. Like he did a whole press conference and they were like, yeah, did you hear that you're gone? He's like, no, I didn't hear that yet. So like, come on.
I'm a little more cool with that one just because Vogel's reaction has been kind of hilarious.
It's hilarious, like when you look at it just in a vacuum, but then you got to think about his family.
I get it.
And like these are humans. Like these are actual people. You got to you can't be so heartless. And that goes into my final thought whenever you got ready.
It literally the first thing.
Yeah, that goes to my final thought whenever y'all ready.
You go ahead.
Are we done?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
All right, so my final thought is this. Barcelona lost on Thursday, and Pedri got injured at halftime. So now he's out for the year. I believe he tore his hamstring. The kid is 19, and he's been playing a lot of soccer for you guys. He's been playing a lot of soccer and is catching up to his body. He's one of the best players in it. Like imagine like Joe Burrow getting injured again, right? And being out for the rest of the year. Like you're like, damn, you're really good, but like hopefully you can stay healthy. So like all the pages on Twitter are announcing it. The first comment that you see every time is like, oh, so-and-so is better. Oh, you're overrated. I'm like, fam, this dude is injured. Like you guys are making jokes over injuries. Like the shit's like a war zone on there. You remember like the Call of Duty lobbies in like 2007? That's what the shit is now on any soccer post. You can say like, oh man, this person had like an amazing assist. and then all you got is like fucking trolls, just one after the other. Like all the other teams are just like talking shit about this one player. And I'm like, fam, like this is not healthy. The whole fucking fan bases of everybody over in Europe or wherever is just toxic now. And the shit, it's not sustainable. It's gonna get to the point where it's gonna be everybody just like, you know what, we're gonna fucking fight whoever. Oh, you like this club? We're fighting you. Like it's gonna get to that point. If they really about that action, because they be saying some shit. Or there's gonna be Twitter keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Okay.
That shit really pissed me off because I was like, this kid's 19. People like, come on, fam.
Do you want to go or you want me to go?
You can
go. Television I'm watching. I just finished the entire season of Abbott Elementary. Fucking good. Great job. It's a good fucking show. Shirley Ralph, who's never got her flowers the way that she deserves them, is fucking killing it in this goddamn show, which is just awesome to see. It's a really, really solid show. You can see the jokes and everything are just there. It's a really, really solid. As far as sitcoms go, it very much feels as though it's going to be in that cult sort of lane as Community, or even probably not as high profile as The Office, but it's one of those NBC comedies that are going to stand the test of time. I really got a good feeling about what season 2 and everything's going to go beyond that. Very, very solid show. Also Atlanta, Atlanta, Donna Glover's on another fucking level. And I'm sorry, this season of Atlanta has had me absolutely blown away. And I know a lot of people are upset that they haven't just followed the story of Earn and Paperboy because he's been going off in these areas. And I always thought that that's when Atlanta's at its best. The Black Network, whatever the name of the BAN, that episode, the Teddy Perkins episode, when they're off the beaten path, to me is always when they're at their best. And I'm really appreciating what Atlanta's doing. Also, last thing, I marathoned and completely finished Attack on Titan, which is look, I'm not a huge anime guy, but I guess I am now because Attack on Titan was marathoning that, and I marathoned the entire series, and I think it was 4 or 5 days. So I treated it like fucking work.
That's like fucking.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Like
it was a lot.
Episodes,
I know, 80 something. It was a lot. It was a lot, but I got through it. But it definitely took me less than a week to do it. I want to cop to something. I want to admit something. On this podcast, I was very, very critical in one of my final thoughts about people that listen to dubbed versions of things. If you have the subtitled version available, I went on Hulu and I just clicked press play and I was watching the dubbed version. I watched the entire dubbed version of Attack on Titan, and then the final 4 or 5 episodes were in subtitles. So I did that, and I realized how different of an experience it is, subtitles compared to dub. So I'm going to rewatch the entire series with subtitles now. It's fucking dope. If you haven't watched Attack on Titan, the way I say this is that if you were a Game of Thrones fan, you know how we thought that I think that Game of Thrones, all the characters ended up where they needed to be. It felt very unearned. Attack on Titan does not have that problem. Everybody's arc is well earned. Everybody's arc is fucking amazing. And the moment that you think almost like Lost, that are they ever going to answer that question? They answer them. Mm-hmm. They answer everything. They leave no stone unturned. It is fucking dope. And I feel like a goddamn loser being a 30-something-year-old watching these goddamn Japanese cartoons. But goddamn, it's good.
I'm with you.
So fucking good.
I'm with you.
Don't be an anime hater. Don't be an anime.
I'm still never watching Dragon Ball Z. I'm not watching Dragon Ball Z. I'm not watching fucking Pokemon. But if you, the next, I'm watching Death Note next. Death Note is my next game.
Good one. Okay. Hey, once you watch that, I got more for you.
I don't know if I want to just get to it on my own.
I would just like to. This isn't a part of my final thought, but I just want to distinguish what you're talking about real quick. The way my homie describes it is Attack on Titan is anime, whereas Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, even though I love Yu Yu Hakusho, I think is one of the best of all time. Is it's more battle shonen, right? So it's about action fights and shit and like that.
People die.
Yeah,
it's none of that fake shit where it's like, oh yeah, the main character's gonna be there forever. No,
Attack on Titan has some of that.
Some of the
Hopefully
people that you fall in love with,
quick.
they get off.
Definitely
That's the point. That's what I'm saying.
I
Some
still
of these other shows, the main characters are there forever.
Have you not watched it?
No, I have to watch it. I've never seen it.
Oh.
Like,
yeah. As soon as you fall in love with somebody, they out.
It's one of the best written shows I've ever watched.
My
Easily.
final thought, because Kate, I went TV, I'll go TV. The last 2 episodes of Snowfall, my God, they've been so fucking good. The season has been more of a slow burn, and it's something that we've been building to. But these last 2 episodes are so good. I won't spoil anything for people who haven't seen it. But like, for example, there was this isn't really a spoiler. Like there was a wedding, and everybody got dosed with LSD. And it was fucking amazing. Like it was fucking great. Like everything that happened that spiraled out of it, I loved it. It was fucking awesome. And then this last episode, the way it ended, oh man, I'm just so excited for like the season finale, which is next week. Because of this last episode, it's something that I've watching this entire series. You know, it's there has to be an end. You know, it's kind of loosely based on Rick Ross's Freeway Ricky Ross. His real life. Knowing that, I've always wondered what's going to happen because obviously it's about the CIA injecting crack into black into the black communities and stuff like that. But I've always wondered what would happen once we get to this point that we've gotten to with that conversation that happened at the end of the episode, and I'm just so excited. It's been so well done. These last like 2, even 3 episodes been pretty well done. And so, yeah, man, Snowfall next season they've announced is the last season, which makes sense because of what's happening. I can't wait to see how they resolve it. Big fan of Snowfall. If you haven't seen it, it's for me, it's probably somewhere in that top 15 shows ever.
All time?
Yeah.
I started to watch it with my wife, and then there was this one scene in like the first season when the dude they was trying to find where the money was. Oh, you already know what I'm talking. Yeah.
No, I know.
Don't spoil anything.
Okay.
Snowfall.
She was like, nah.
I have to
ain't watching this.
I have to do Yellowstone next. Like I have to do Yellowstone this time. But Snowfall. You know, I almost turned on late night. Top Boy. I almost said, fuck it. Let me do Top Boy.
Bruv. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, all right. That's another thing.
Everybody does that shit.
Look, have y'all watched Moon Knight?
No. Oh yeah.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend, for some reason last week, I kept calling people bruv, and I couldn't figure out why. Like we were trying to, like, did I have a stroke? Like I'm in the elevator, like, hey, bro.
Okay, Steven.
You know what? That reminds me, I need to watch the other one.
I literally have figured out it's because I've been watching Moon Knight. It's fucking weird how that works for me.
It's weird, isn't it?
In it. Oh, when he dropped the Wagwan, I'm like, nah. Oscar Isaac's putting in work on this show, and I love it. Ethan Hawke, same thing. If there's one other show, Moon Knight, I like it so far.
All right. Great episode, guys.
Cool.
All right.
Are we out?
Got some errands to run. See y'all later.
All right. Bye, bitches.
Maz at 1. I got some shit to do.
Oh, yeah.
Wish us luck.
Wish Lucas Calf some luck. Bye.
We might not need him.
Oh, get the fuck. Oh, fuck you. We might not need him.
Yeah,
shut the fuck up.
Hey, the Spencer Dinwiddie show is about to happen.
I saw the Spencer Dinwiddie show for a while in Washington. I'm all right.
No. That was Washington's issue.
He said you got a different version.
Yeah,
we got a Chris Stapps that I like now. All right.
Actually, I do too.
Yeah.
He's actually doing what he's supposed to do. I mean, I think that was just because of us.
I think so too.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a good trade for both teams. Hopefully, keep Bradley Beal.
I'm off the Bradley Beal thing. All right, let's go. All right, see you guys.
What?
We'll talk about it next week.
Okay.